Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Reven cast. I am Actual Dez, and I am joined once again by Panda Sniper.
Hello.
And today's a little different. Um, we have some small news, sort of, but not like
Yeah,
not a whole lot. And more of this episode is gonna just be, what do you want to call it, like a concept idea, like
yeah,
episode
character
kind of.
concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today is more about character concepts, kit ideas, and all that stuff. Because no major news
Oh my god, that
as of
juke
late.
was dirty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That healer juke was dirty.
uh, that's what happens when you put so much time in Layla because no one else wants to. um, but yes, this is just going to be talking about kit ideas and everything that the community has brought up in the Discord. No major news has been released as of, I believe, the second episode is when we got like the juiciest bit of info. Um, and there has been a little bit, like there's now a mini map that we don't
Yep.
have any current footage of the mini map or anything, unfortunately. So this gameplay footage that you're looking at right now is
Old.
slightly old, like, because I say slightly because the only thing that's new is the mini map.
Yeah.
Well, and some Marcus changes, but I'm no stop. We're not going down that rabbit hole. But the game now has a mini map. It's just traditional mini map from MOBAs and everything.
Yeah.
It just
It
highlights where you are, or where the crystals are, the shards, all that good stuff.
yeah, it also I think it removed the UI that's at the top of the screen that like you can see in this clip. But the mini map that we played with removed that and then wasn't finalized. So
Hmm.
sometimes like tracking objectives was a little awkward, but otherwise, like we knew it wasn't finalized. We just wanted to actually test that everything was working and stuff. But no, it feels good to be able to just like I play a lot of Valorant and I'm a mini map enjoyer where I just stare at the mini map a lot. So
Yeah,
it feels good to be able to do that in another game where
I mean, and
I
I'm
just
a
run
mobile
around and
player.
stare.
I'm a mobile player, and I just like most of the time I'm looking at the mini map.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
good to know that I can do it in this game now.
Yeah, I mean it is really important I think in Reven Blade, especially for the shard timings. Like before you had to have somebody manually go over and check shard timings, which I actually thought was like an interesting bit of macro because having like that communication was like optimal. Um, but it is just so much more convenient to just be able to glance at the corner of your screen and just be like, oh, this shard was captured, is going to be online in 40 seconds.
Hmm.
That's it. Um, so it definitely streamlines the macro part of the game.
Yeah, and I think there's still some changes that will be done to it eventually. Um, but I don't really recall what the changes were. I think it was to make
Was
the
the tower, like the capture point tower, doesn't currently show the progress, I think. And there was a bug with the crystals, if I'm not mistaken, but nothing
yeah.
major.
Yeah, so there's still some things that they're working on, but other than the mini map, there's nothing new of note. Just a new mini map. New mini map is cool. Just fucking zoom it, dude. I love that thing. It's great. Sorry, I got distracted. I just literally went from my crystal straight to their crystal.
Yeah, in like 2 seconds.
Mm, delicious. Um, but But yeah, that's it for the mini map. Nothing new, nothing crazy. But I mean, nice to have. It's nice to have a mini map. But the main uh, topic for this episode is just discussing character concepts, kit ideas, whatever you want to call them. I don't have any like artwork or anything to show you, so this Layla gameplay is going to be on screen for the whole thing. So I apologize if it gets repetitive and is dull, but deal with it. Um, if you've been just watching my stuff for a long time, well, you're used to it. So again, get over it. Um, so what we want to talk about first, I don't know if you have it pulled up, Panda.
Uh, Boomerang? If so, yes.
Yeah. So the first character we're gonna start with is my fucking pogoed me, bitch. We're gonna be starting with the
Demonetized right there.
yeah, that's fine. Um, we're gonna be starting with my personal kit idea that I thought up about a couple weeks ago. What is the Boomerang Slinger Clover? If you want to go ahead and read off.
You want me to read your kid idea?
I mean,
I'll go for
I don't have it up, but I have the stream up so I can see chat.
Oh. Okay.
Didn't use
Uh,
defensive. Yeah, I realized I had it as soon as I died. Sad face.
so yeah, this is Des Kit, Boomerang Slinger Clover. I guess I'll read the most recent one.
Yes, it'll be the one closer to the
Probably.
bottom. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So primary fire, Clover throws their boomerang forward, damaging on the initial throw and the return. If enemies are hit on the return, they take reduced damage but suffer a diminishing slow.
Yeah.
Do
So
you want me to read everything, or do you want to go as we?
I was gonna. I didn't really mention it too, too well. Just kind of like talk about each little bit, and then talk about it for
Okay.
talk about it for a bit, and then just kind of move on to the next thing and just go.
Go for it.
Mm.
Yeah. So what did you want to say about the primary fire?
So I don't want to sound biased, but overall, I think this kit just sounds fun. um, but especially just for the basic attack. I mean, I just love boomerangs, like boomerang wielders and stuff in anime games, what have you. Like a main influence for this kit was Sango from Inuyasha. If you don't know that character, she wields a giant boomerang. And she was a massive inspiration for the kit. And I pretty much wanted this kit to be more kind of sort of like Layla, where I can like she can get in your face, be supportive of their team, or just overall be kind of a hyper carry. I don't know if I'd say hyper carry, but like has the potential to carry. Um, so I wanted to have the basic attack be like a boomerang, so they're kind of up close ranged.
Would it arc like how actual boomerangs work?
Uh, the basic attack would just be a straight
A straight
skill
line
shot.
like Leyland. Like
Yeah.
Layla. Yeah.
But the RMB, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it here in a second, has an arc. But I just wanted the basic attack just to be, standard like close, like
Yeah.
mid range basic, but with a benefit if you can land that return throw. Obviously, like numbers and everything weren't thought of too much when it came to designing the kit. It was just more of like what sounds fun, what sounds just fluid, what sounds interesting. So I wasn't really thinking of the numbers or anything, but yeah, I just thought it would be cool to have that basic attack, and if you can land that the return, then it would be like add more to skill expression.
That makes sense.
Next is the RMB.
Yeah, so the R&B is Clover throws their boomerang with a curving arc before returning back to them. Enemies hit are stunned for 1 second.
Yeah. So, and this, like we were saying, just has an arc, and this would be an RB that would reward you just aiming it correctly. Like, and you can get multiple people stunned with this arc. So it further rewards you for aiming it correctly and actually just landing in. Feels so just satisfying. Also, again, it works kind of like a boomerang. You throw it in an arc, and then it'll come back at you.
Yeah, come back to you.
Yeah. So
it also has 2 augments, which actually nice of you to actually put like augment ideas. Because that's something that all the kits that I designed, I just never put the augment ideas, and then I realized that I should.
yeah. So I designed the abilities first, and then went back and added augments.
Yeah, makes sense. So augment 1 for the R&B was throws in a smaller arc closer to Clover, giving them and their allies increased move speed. I would assume that would remove the stun.
Yes, it
Yeah.
wouldn't stun. It would just be you use it closer to you, like you more like throw it around yourself more so.
Yeah.
And then allies around you would get move speed along as with yourself.
Yeah.
So
And then augment 2 is instead of an arc, it's a straight skill shot, and at the end of its range, the boomerang sticks to the ground. Enemies in that area are knocked up. That sounds cool.
yeah, so you can just be more of a like more on the supporting side, speed up your allies if you need to, or you can just be more of a disruptor with some CC. Throw
Yeah.
your R&B straight into the fray and just set up the enemy team for like a gank or whatever. Like get them out of position.
Yeah, I love I think like the one CC that we don't really have a lot of right now is knockups. I'd
I
like
don't think
to
there's any
the the
knockup.
the closest is Assassin's Heavy Augment where he like pulls you with him. Um but
Interesting.
it's not really like a knockup, but yeah, I think that's the closest we have.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah, where like you dash at a 45-degree angle up.
Yeah, it just looks
Yeah.
like a rubber banded.
Yeah, it does look kind of janky. Uh Beckett has a true, Beckett does have a knockup.
Okay, that's fair.
Bulwark
Uh,
Slam has left the chat. Bulwark Slam doesn't knock up, it stuns. What are you on? Sharpie, you're on something. Fight. I did forget about Fighter. I will be honest, I forgot about
yeah,
Fighter because nobody picks that augment.
I also forgot that Beckett had a knockup. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Then you have your the mobility for Boomerang, or sorry, for Clover, where they twirls their boomerang in front of them, propelling themselves forward. A Clover runs into enemies; they are knocked to the side and suffer a diminishing slow.
Yeah, so this is
Uh,
just a mobility option for Clover to just kind of dash out of a fight or dash into a fight. Um, like nothing too crazy about it, other than like if you hit anybody, they're slowed for like a little bit.
and
So
then Augment 1, if Clover runs into an enemy, they are knocked behind them, and a shield is granted to Clover, but the dash ends. And then Augment number 2, if Clover runs into an ally, the ally gets increased move speed, and the duration of the dash is reset. This can only proc once.
yeah,
So
so
do you mean
go ahead.
duration is the dash as in what? Like they dash twice as far?
More
Or
so the you will dash for like a certain period of time initially, but if you run into an ally with the dash, it would give them increased move speed and it would reset the duration of the dash. So
of
you
on you?
yeah,
Yeah,
so
gotcha.
that's pretty much what that is,
Yeah,
and
so you can
then
dash twice as far.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
but so there's that to again be more supportive, try to help your allies get out of a fight if you need to, or you can use it as like a dive tool where you just dive in and go, all right, well, I threw you at my team, have fun. Uh,
Yeah.
so it just I really tried to have the augments split the playstyles a little bit. That's definitely the goal of these augments. Um, but yeah, I that's pretty much just what it is. You either support your team, give them move speed, or you dive into a fight and fuck over one specific person.
Nice. And then the heavy ability, Clover slings their boomerang, having it bounce between targets, focusing unique targets. It bounces 3 times maximum, and on the third hit, the target is stunned if it is a unique target. If it is not a unique target, the target is slowed for 2 seconds.
Yep. I mean, so
Kind of like Mage LMB, except on a single ability.
well, and also like Mocha also brought mention that like it's pretty close to Siver's ability, like her ricochet ability. I know you don't play League, but
Nope.
I, I mean I don't anymore, but I know who Siver is and I know what ability he's talking about. But it is pretty close to Siver's ricochet. Um, but I also don't recall how many times it bounces. Um, but I mean, it was just like this is a boomerang. It feels like a boomerang esque of like effect.
Yeah, the
So if
bounce between.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I just kind of added that with. I wanted to add a sort of gimmick to it than just spread damage. If you can actually bounce it in between like multiple enemies, you can stun someone out, knock them out of position because they're probably going to spread apart to try to negate the effect of that ability. Um, so you could try to capitalize on the bounces in that way, or if
Yeah.
you're just doing it for damage, then you can potentially just slow them to catch up to you.
Yeah. It seems like, well, how would it know who to bounce to?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, wonderful.
I
Mocha
told you
codes.
I didn't think of numbers or anything
Yeah, yeah.
or anything
Well,
like that.
well, just because like it might feel random
Mhm.
if it stuns the target that you didn't want it to stun. You know what I mean?
I think that also just
But
kind of depends on. It was more so like, well, where are how close are the enemies to each other? Like, who are you aiming
yeah,
at? It's gonna have like an aiming reticle. Like I imagined an aiming reticle with it.
gotcha. Like it'd be
Um,
a unique.
yeah,
Yeah, makes sense. And then the augments for it, Clover can cast this on allies, but reduce to 2 bounces for these allies, and but the bounces grant a shield, and then augment 2 no longer stuns or slows, but will keep bouncing between targets until a non-unique target is hit.
yep,
Seems cool. I like them.
yeah.
Um,
Yes. So I sorry, I had to like go back through my mind, go back through my mind, and like play that back again. Uh, um. So yeah, again, it just leads to being more supportive, giving shields to your team if need be, or you can just use it to spread more damage about if you need to spread more damage.
yeah,
So like if you have the entire team pretty much grouped up, that could theoretically bounce 6 times because it would bounce to each unique
yeah, to each
target, and then it
person.
would bounce to bounce one more time.
Oh
Um,
yeah, because then it hits the
yeah,
first non-unique target.
yes, it
Yeah,
stops bouncing when it hits the first non-unique target.
yeah,
So if the 5 enemies are grouped up, that can effectively hit 5 or 6 times.
6 times. Yeah.
But that's just like one of the 1 in a million like type of chances. But yeah, again, it's just more of all right. You can give your ally shield, or you can spread more damage. That's pretty much just what it is.
And then the defensive, Clover jumps high into the air and twirls a boomerang to keep them airborne for the duration. Clover receives damage reduction during this duration.
Yeah, so it's
Uh,
just so it is to
Kind of like float, right?
yeah, it's like floating.
Yeah,
It shoots them upward, giving Clover more like vertical movement.
yeah,
Um, on top of like you're not just like stationary. You can move a little bit. You're gonna be slowed, obviously.
yeah. But you have air strafing.
Yeah, so like you have a little bit of movement in the air, and you have damage reduction because well, if you're going up in the air, you're theoretically an easier target. So giving themselves damage reduction and just a way out of a fight if need be.
Augment number 1 for that, if used in the range of allies, they are granted a shield and CC immunity. And augment number 2, Clover can press spacebar to essentially recast the ability, but comes crashing down, stunning enemies in the area for 1 second.
Yeah, so you can use it as a re-engagement tool to stun enemies, or you can support your team if they have like a CC heavy comp or what have you, to just give them CC immunity as you fly up and away. It's like, hey, I'm leaving, but don't
I'm out
worry,
of here.
I got you.
I think
uh,
what I like the most about just this kit in general is like if you always take what you always put augment 2, right? Oh, not always, but like if you always take the aggressive CC control augments, then like your engage and just like battlefield control like skyrockets.
mhm.
Um, which like I'm just picturing, you take like augment 2 on the R&B, so it's a straight skill shot, right? So like you throw that and then it knocks them up, and then while they're knocked up, you double cast your defensive so that you go up and then come down and then they're stunned, and then you back up a little bit and you what was the other one? And then you do the mobility where it like pushes them into your team, Like you just the ability to actually control the enemies that you engage would be like pretty sick. And I assume that again, numbers are numbers, but like, you tend to balance this stuff by making it so that their base damage is relatively low so that they have
Mhm.
to be consistently hitting shots and they can't just like they need the team support to actually finish the kills.
Yeah,
Um
it's kind of like Layla in the aspect. Well, okay, sort of, because Layla
yeah.
can do a lot by herself, but it's more so like Clover would be peeling for the team rather
Yeah.
than just going in and just like fuck you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's basically the mentality. Although that combo you just mentioned, Sounds quite strong, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, again, like that's kind of the fun thing about augments, though, is like because if say you like say this character gets implemented exactly as you have it and you do something like that, all of a sudden you're giving up all of your team mobility or like team play, like you're
Hmm.
basically saying that if I can't hit these shots or like if I can't land the skill shots and control the enemy, then like why did I take the augments?
Hmm.
Whereas a lot of the team-based augments are a lot easier to hit. Like it's a lot easier to be next to an ally and throw your boomerang in the small arc that gives them move speed. Like that's really easy to do. But to hit, an enemy at the end of a straight skill shot where the skill shot like ends at a certain distance, like that's significantly more difficult.
Yeah.
So it is like that's one of the like my favorite things about augments in general is it's like you are giving up something if you fail to utilize the augment. Like then why did you take it?
Yeah. I mean, that's valid. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much Clover, the boomerang slinger. I just wanted to make that kit. Just I was in a mood. I was just sitting there like, but there's no boomerang character. It'd be cool if there was a boomerang character. I'm gonna make one. um, but yeah, to me at least, like not to sound biased, I feel like it sounds fun on paper, and the
Yeah.
augments really do diversify if you want to be an all like a supporting type character or like an all in, I guess, bruiser.
Yeah. I dig it.
So we do have one other kit we want to talk about, and depending on how much time we have left, we'll probably squeeze in a third one.
Yeah. We're gonna. This
Uh,
one's complicated.
Alchemist, right? It actually
It
is.
actually, Flim, it is
It
Alchemist.
actually is Alchemist.
And there's a lot of cool kit ideas. Just in case we don't get to them, shout out to Inferno Fox because he has a lot of cool ones. Um, but the reason that I wanted to cover Alchemist was because Carbon and I specifically in the Discord have been asking for a character that has just a lot more like a super high skill cap, right? I want a character that like I can't. It's physically impossible for a human to master. And like I want that character. And that's when I played MOBA games. Those were some of my favorite characters to play. Are the ones versus like super micro intensive because I come from an RTS background. And this is kind of in the similar vein. Um, so this is from Flim, otherwise known as 251 in
Yeah, and
this Twitch chat.
I have not seen or read this kit before, so it's all gonna
Yeah.
be new to me.
So I'll try to make everything as clear as possible, but it is relatively complicated. So the it's an alchemist slash like elemental character. So the general idea is that you have potions that you combine together, and then that combination means that you can actually like actually creates the ability that you're doing. So the passive is that Alchemist has 2 elemental slots active. When 2 elements are added, Alchemist creates a potion with them. So pretty fairly self-explanatory. You combine 2 things to actually get whatever your ability does.
Okay.
Um, your LMB is just a normal melee attack, uh, unless you have a potion. If you have a potion equipped, you throw the potion, and that would have some kind of cooldown. And
Okay.
then RMB is that you drink whatever the hell the potion is. Okay, so far,
Drink.
so far, pretty self-explanatory. You have 2 slots open. You can throw the potion, or you can drink the potion.
Drink the
Um,
potion. You can either slam the potion down on the ground, or you can just chug that bitch.
yeah. So here's where things get complicated.
All right.
So now you have 3 ability slots left. You have your heavy ability, your defensive ability, your mobility ability. These have no cooldowns, and they add 1 element to one of the elemental slots available.
Oh, Jesus
Um,
Christ.
yep. So this would be so much easier to show, I think. But if you think of it as heavy is H, defensive is D, and mobility is M. We're gonna use letters so I don't have to say everything every time. So you have H, D, and M, and basically there's just a combination of potions that is all of these. Um, so for example, if you combine heavy with heavy, right, you get a
Hmm.
high damage potion. That's all
Okay.
it does.
All right.
If you throw it, it does high damage.
Okay.
If you combine heavy with defensive, you get a low damage potion, but it also stuns.
Okay.
If you get a heavy with a mobility, you get a medium damage, but it has a longer range.
Hmm.
If you combine two defensives, you create a damage reduction zone. If you These are for thrown, by the way.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Right.
if
Can't
you
imagine just
Yeah,
being like, "Fuck it," just slam it on the
yeah,
ground.
yeah, yeah, you just drink it and then you deal high damage to yourself.
Dude,
Um,
fucking imagine.
you if you do defensive and mobility, then you have jump pad. And if you do double mobility, you have high knockback AOE. So kind of like similar to Marcus Shotgun, right?
Hmm.
So basically, what this is you essentially have three abilities, right? You have your heavy defensive and mobility, but when you combined these, you now have six different options, right? So the ability, like the main draw of this is okay, what do I need in what situation, and how do I like you have to know all of the combinations off the top of your head to be able to do it quickly. So those are for the throne, and then for the drink effects, if you drink double heavy, you'd have increased LMB damage. Heavy plus defensive, your basic attacks grant damage reduction.
Okay.
Heavy plus mobility, your next basic attack becomes a leap/dash attack. Double defensive, heals self per second, like just a heal.
Yeah.
Uh, Defensive and mobility, you would grant yourself CC immunity, and then mobility plus mobility, you give yourself a speed boost. Um,
Interesting.
Yep. And then there's those are just like ideas that Flim gave. And there's a couple augment examples that he gives, but they're not as like in depth as yours, so I don't really want to cover them.
Okay.
Um, but like the general idea here is a character that I just really want to see in the game, where you just have like you have a character where the whole idea about it is there's a bajillion different combinations and ways to use abilities,
It's a combo
and you have to
character.
yeah, and you have to figure out which one is correct, in what situation.
Hmm.
And I think God, what's the fuck's his name? Um it's like the spellcaster guy from Dota.
Spellcaster guy from
Uh
Dota. There's like a
yeah, I know
handful.
there's like a bajillion of them. Carbon knows who I'm talking about. Invoker.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah. Like Invoker from Dota, where like I know Carbon at some point shared the flow chart for Invoker in Dota, but there's like 100 fucking different abilities that you
Yes.
can do, and
Yes.
it's like characters like that are so cool to me, because not every character has to be easy to pick up. Like that's great for new players, but kind of boring once you know how to play the game.
Yeah, like it's
Um,
definitely important to have like the intricate characters. Like like you said, it's good to have the characters that's really good for new players, like for onboarding. But
yeah,
to really keep the veteran players like interested in playing, you want to introduce those characters as like very intricate, very hard to master, but also very
yeah,
rewarding when you pull it off.
yeah. Like I want the technical character where like I have to spend 6 hours plus hours of like just running around in a practice range, getting used to the key combinations
Hmm.
to be able to play it. Like that to me is a character that I want. And I know Carbon and I, maybe next time if we have another slow week, Carbon and I developed a character that's kind of similar, although it is patron only. But maybe I'll share it anyway. Because it's a character that's in the same line that Carbon and I developed together. Um, but yeah, I would just love to see a character within the same vein. And I've made and like I designed a druid character that was kind of similar.
Hmm.
Um where your heavy mobility and defensive would put you into stances, or sorry, it was your heavy and your defensive would put you into stances. And then you had your LB, your RMB, and your mobility would just be the abilities. Um, but each ability did different things depending on which stance you were in. So again, more like micromanagement. Like I just want a character that's like that. I want the character where I have to think hard.
Um,
Test my brain, please.
I mean, that's fair. And, like we were saying, it's just one of those characters that there are players that just love those characters and will spend the time to try to get good with them. But you'll also have that side of the player base that's like, oh, I have to take like a whole century to learn these characters, they're bad to me. I don't care about them. Get them
Yeah.
out of here. Which I don't like that mentality. I don't like the fact that if you have to take more than like 20 minutes to learn a character, like if you have to take longer than that to understand and how to work a character, that they're just bad. I don't like that mentality.
Yeah.
Um, just get a bigger IQ. I don't know what to tell you. Which I mean, I have an IQ of 5, but like
But that's enough.
I love playing with those characters. Like not really. I mean, sort of really, but not like the same genre. But Asuka from Guilty Gear Strive. That character is so technical.
Yeah.
He can have different freaking spells in his book, and you can freaking cast them, but you also have to like recover your mana. You can rebookmark your spells, but once you use the spells, your slot's empty, so you got to rebookmark it for a spell.
Is this in the most recent one?
He is the most recent character, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does he does he hold like a book when you're playing him?
Yes, he holds like
Okay.
he has a book. He's got like a cloak. He's got a weird thing on his eye.
I've played Guilty Gear for like maybe 2 hours total, and like one of the games that I went up, I went up against him, and I just like immediately died. Like I had no I had no idea how to do anything.
I mean,
I was getting comboed into the wall. Like
yeah, Strive is also a little bit different than the older Guilty Gears, in the sense that it's more casual friendly compared to the older ones.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but yeah, no, Asuka is a very fun character, but after like just messing around in the training mode and then fighting CPU for a little bit, I was like, Jesus Christ, there's so much of this character, my hands hurt. But I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Like he's such an interesting and cool character. On top of just fighting games where you have to have the patience to learn your character's combos, learn what they do, when to do what. But Asuka just takes it to another level because you have all that, and then you have like, okay, well, what the fuck are these combinations? Like, what are these spells? What do they do? Like, it's great, and it really does mean a difference when you have those like technical characters in your game. Again, they're not meant for new players. New players are gonna like they're gonna play that character for like 2 minutes, and they're like, okay, my brain hurts. Get it away from me, please.
Yep.
And that's fine, because then you'll have the veteran players that jump all over that and try to learn how to make them work and all that good stuff. And then the new player will have like the friendly characters, like, oh yeah, I can get behind this. This is cool.
I want to make a tutorial video that's like 2.5 hours long. You know, that's like basic tutorial for X character, but time is 2.5 hours long.
So you see the character, there's like how to play, and then you see the time, it says 2 hours.
Yep.
Oh, that's an investment. That's like watching anime, dude. But yeah, that's, I don't know. I think it's important to have those types of characters in the game to really have, I guess, I wouldn't say diversity, but just the variety of type of characters. You have the beginner friendly characters, but you have these very technical, very fun, hard to play characters.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with having either or.
Oh, good, Sharpie. You were taking notes then. Let's go.
Agreed. I agree. Yes.
Yes.
So were you taking notes when we were talking about Clover, or take notes for both of these characters? But the Alchemist character definitely sounded very interesting and kind of funny.
Yeah. So some of the abilities are pretty funny, I think. But
no, you were working? What a skish you, dude.
Oh.
Imagine. But yeah, this is a pretty short episode. I know it's been like 30-ish minutes, like over 30 minutes, but like this is definitely shorter than the last episode. Which, I mean, slow news week. We didn't really have anything to talk about besides the mini-map, and like the mini-map only took us like a couple minutes. So we needed something to fill the time.
Hopefully next week we'll have a larger update and we can probably actually show the mini-map. Like hopefully we'll get some footage.
If we get some footage, like just have some more news to talk about it. Worst case, if we'll talk about Inferno Fox's character.
Yeah, just more character ideas.
Yeah, more character ideas. Like, and that's something I want to like probably try to do with these is maybe splash in a few character ideas every now and then in
Yeah,
these episodes because it's nice discussion, nice like theory crafting of like what a character could do, who a character could be.
yeah,
Um, but yeah,
and it's just cool to also like highlight what like I think when people make character ideas, it really shows you what characters you're missing in a game too, right? Because you see like what do people want in the game versus what you have in the game, and then compare and contrast.
mm-hmm.
So it is really just like a good way to be like, hey, I don't like I have a niche character in my head, and this is why I want it up like implemented. Like you want a boomerang character implemented, even though Layla exists, right? So clearly the niche for you is missing.
Yeah.
So it's just cool to like to highlight that.
Oh, I also just like I honestly just I don't think Chakram like fits the bill in terms of like that weapon type.
Yeah,
And again, I think we talked about this before we started recording, but there's a rumor that Layla's basic attack could change. Um, but again, don't know how true that is.
yeah,
And if it does, well, then that just makes Clover even more like fits that niche
fits the
more. I
bill.
think.
Yep.
Yeah. So who knows? I don't. I have an IQ
Flim,
of 5.
Flim, we don't talk about bot games. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I've played too many of those. Got like you in my lobby. I've got Ravage in my lobby. You know, just absolute bots.
got him. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this week's episode of the Reven cast. I'll have links and stuff in the description to join the Discord, download the game, become a patron, like do all the fun stuff. All of that will be in the description. Probably a little late to stress this in at this point in the video, but this game is in like alpha, pre-alpha, like testing kind of, so it's
Yeah.
not immediately available. But because I have actually gotten a couple comments of people trying to like play the game, and I'm like, yeah, I did actually kind of not explain that well enough. So
Yeah.
that is
it
a
is
might be.
playable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is playable, but it's your best chance of being able to play the game is if you become a patron. Your second best is just hanging out in the Discord a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
it's not like we're playing every day, queuing up into the ranked games, you know.
yeah, like the footage you're looking at is probably weeks old.
Yeah, I think it is about a week and a half old now. So
Yeah, so yeah, that is definitely a my B. I didn't really communicate that well enough, so my apologies. And I will try to do better for my next video whenever I get that uploaded.
look at you, self-improvement. Let's go, Des.
I'm trying, man. I can only do so much. But yeah, thanks again everyone for tuning in to the Revencast, and we will see you for the next time, the next episode.
See ya.